The red and blue lights just lit up right behind you, and you're about to make a mistake that could cost you everything. Before I go any further, have you ever been pulled over and froze up? Had no idea what to say or do? Drop a yes or no in the comments right now. It takes 2 seconds. And it helps me know I am reaching real people who actually need this. Okay, here's what most people do wrong. The second those lights come on, they panic. They pull over fast, they reach all over the car, and they start talking right away. That right there is exactly where things fall apart. Most drivers have no idea this is even a thing. The first 60 seconds of a traffic stop are the most important 60 seconds of the whole stop. What you say and what you do in those seconds can protect you completely, or it can hurt you badly. Here's the real problem. Nobody ever teaches us what to actually do. Back in driver's ed, they said, pull over safely and hand over your license. That was it. That was the whole lesson. And that gap in knowledge is costing real drivers every single day. This is exactly where things fall apart for most people. When you do not know the rules, you give the officer more than you have to. You say things you do not have to say. You answer questions you have no legal reason to answer. You reach for things before anyone asks. You step out of the car with no idea if you are even required to. And every single one of those things can be used against you later, in court, on your record, in ways you never saw coming. Most drivers are not bad people. They are just not prepared. And being unprepared in a traffic stop is not a small deal. People lose their licenses over it. People get arrested over something they blurted out in the first 2 minutes. People lose court cases over things they did before the officer asked a single question. You do not want to be one of those people. After today, you will not have to be. I've gone through hundreds of real traffic stop recordings. I've read actual court documents and legal case summaries. The pattern I keep seeing is always the same. Drivers do not lose because of what the officer did. They lose because of what the driver said or did in the very first 60 seconds. That is not an opinion. That is a pattern that shows up over and over again. Here is the first move. And this one is so simple, it is almost shocking nobody talks about it more. It is called the hands first rule. The moment your car comes to a full stop, your hands go straight to the top of the steering wheel. Both hands. Right there. Visible. Before the officer even steps out of their patrol car. Do not reach for your purse. Do not dig through the glove box. Do not grab your wallet or your phone. Do nothing. Just place both hands on that wheel and stay still. Here's the problem this solves. Officers are trained to watch your hands the second they step out of their car. Your hands are the first thing they look at. If your hands are moving around or reaching under the seat, their alert level goes up fast. A tense officer creates an unpredictable situation, and an unpredictable situation is the last thing you want on the side of the road. When the officer walks up to your window, say exactly this: "My hands are on the wheel. I want you to feel safe. Tell me what you need before I reach for anything." That phrase is calm, it is clear, it signals cooperation from your very first word. It also tells the officer you are not making sudden or secret movements. Courts have looked favorably on drivers who show clear and calm intent from the start of a stop. You are not being weak when you do this, you are being smart. There is a huge difference between those two things. Now this next one is where most people completely fall apart. And I mean completely. This one is called the silence shield, and it might be the most important move in this entire video. Here is what happens almost every time. The officer walks up and asks that famous question, "Do you know why I pulled you over today?" And most drivers answer it. They do not just answer it, they confess. They say things like, "I think I was going a little fast," or "I may have rolled through that stop sign." And just like that, it is over. You handed the officer everything they needed. You did not have to say any of it. Here is the truth most people do not know. You are not required to answer that question. You are not required to guess why you were stopped. You do not have to say anything that could make you look guilty. That is your Fifth Amendment right. The Fifth Amendment is the part of the Constitution that says you do not have to talk yourself into trouble. It means you do not have to say things that can be used against you in court. Now you know exactly what that means. So when they ask that question, say exactly this: "Officer, I don't want to be difficult. I just prefer not to guess. Can you tell me the reason you stopped me today?" That phrase is polite. It is not rude. It is not a fight. And it does something very important. It puts the reason for the stop back on the officer. You are not admitting anything. You are not guessing out loud. You are asking for information you are entitled to know. That is a calm and protected move that works in your favor every time. Knowing just that one phrase puts you ahead of 90% of drivers on the road right now. Real quick, if nobody has ever told you any of this before, hit the thumbs up button right now. Most people go their whole lives without knowing even one of these things. Let us change that together. Okay, back to the tips. Now, before I go any further, I want to be clear about something. I want to say this right in the middle of the video so you actually hear it. Everything I share with you today is for educational purposes only. This is not legal advice, and I am not your lawyer. If you are in a serious situation, please talk to a licensed attorney in your state. Every state has different laws. What applies in one place may not apply somewhere else. Okay, now back to what we were talking about. Here's the third move, and this one is all about your paperwork. It is called the document dance. It sounds simple, but most people still get this wrong every single time. When an officer asks for your license, registration, and proof of insurance, you must hand those over. That part is not optional. But how you hand them over is where most people create a problem they did not have to create. Most drivers just start reaching everywhere at once. Into the glove box, the back pocket, the center console, all at the same time with zero warning. That sudden movement is one of the fastest ways to make a routine stop get out of hand. Here's the problem this move solves. Sudden unannounced movement inside a vehicle is one of the top things that makes traffic stops escalate fast. You can avoid that entirely by simply saying what you're about to do before your hands move. When they ask for your documents, say exactly this. Of course, my license is in my wallet in my back pocket. My registration is in the glove box. I'm going to reach for both now. Is that okay? That sentence tells the officer exactly where your hands are going before they move there. No surprises. No questions about what you're reaching for. You've done it in a way that feels natural, polite, and completely protective of yourself. Announcing your movements is not weakness. It is the kind of calm that keeps a routine stop short. Without it, things can get longer and much worse in a hurry. Now here is the fourth move. Pay close attention here. This one is about a situation that a lot of drivers do not know how to handle. This one is called the exit question answer. Here is something most drivers have no idea about. In most situations, you're not automatically required to step out of your vehicle just because an officer asks. Wait, before you take that the wrong way, let me finish. There are situations where an officer does have the legal right to order you out of the car. Courts have confirmed this. If they have a safety reason tied to the nature of the stop, you need to comply. But here is what matters. If an officer asks you to step out but gives zero reason, you have the right to ask why. You do not have to open that door blind. Here is what this move solves. Some officers will ask a driver to step out purely out of habit or to apply pressure. Once you step out of the car, you are in a more exposed position. You lose the physical boundary the vehicle gives you. You want to know if you are genuinely required to exit before you put yourself in that spot. So if that happens, say exactly this. Officer, I do want to cooperate with you fully. Can you help me understand why you need me outside right now? That phrase is calm. It is not aggressive. It is not a fight. And it creates a moment where the officer must either explain the reason or back off. Either way, you are operating from knowledge instead of blind reflex and fear. You do not have to exit your vehicle without a reason being given. And now you know exactly how to ask about it without making things worse. I need to ask you something personal right now. Is there someone in your life who drives every single day and has no idea about any of this? A parent, a sibling, a close friend, someone you care about? Share this video with them right now, not later. Right now, while you're thinking about it, this information could genuinely protect them the very next time they get pulled over. Send it, then come right back. We have one more move to go. Here's the fifth and final move, and this one is about protecting yourself after the stop is already over. It is called the paper trail play. Most people never think about this until it is way too late. Here is the reality. A lot of traffic stop problems do not show up during the actual stop. They show up weeks or months later, in court, in a license hearing, in an insurance dispute. At that point, it is your memory against an official report. And without your own documentation, you are in a very difficult spot. So the moment the stop ends and you are somewhere safe, take out your phone, open a voice memo app, hit record, and say exactly this. Today's date is blank, the time is blank, the officer's name was blank, badge number or car number was blank. I was told the reason for the stop was blank. Here is what I want to remember about this stop. Then describe anything that felt unusual or important. That recording has a timestamp. It has your words fresh from right after the stop. If that stop ever becomes something bigger later, you have real documentation. Most drivers never think to do this. That little voice memo could be one of the most valuable 2 minutes of your life. Your memory is sharpest right after it happens. Use it. Record it. Protect yourself before you forget a single detail. All right, you just went through 5 real moves that most drivers will never know exist. Let us bring them all together quickly so they actually stick. The first move was the hands first rule. The moment you stop, both hands go to the top of the steering wheel. You stay still. You let the officer feel safe. You ask before you reach for anything. The second move was the silence shield. You never guess out loud why you were pulled over. You politely ask the officer to state the reason for the stop. You never hand over words that can be used against you. The third move was the document dance. When they ask for your paperwork, you announce every movement before your hands go anywhere. No surprises, no sudden reaching. Clean and calm every time. The fourth move was the exit question answer. You now know you're not automatically required to step out of your car without a reason being given. You know the exact calm phrase to ask about it without making things worse. The fifth move was the paper trail play. At the moment the stop ends, you pull out your phone and document everything while it is still fresh. Date, time, badge number, reason given, anything important. That voice memo is your personal record, and it could matter more than you ever imagined. You now know something that most drivers will never know in their lifetime. You're not helpless in that situation anymore. You walked into this video as someone who just reacted. You are walking out as someone with a real plan and real words ready to go. And that is a real difference. Most people in your neighborhood, your workplace, and your family still have no idea about any of this. You do now. That matters. Knowledge like this does not just protect you in one stop. It protects you every single time you get behind the wheel for the rest of your life. That is worth something real. Here is your challenge. The next time you get pulled over, use at least one of these 5 moves. Just one. Then come back to this video and tell me in the comments exactly what happened. How did the officer respond? How did it feel to actually know what to say? What was different? I read every single comment on this channel. Your story might give someone else the courage to use these moves when it matters most. Stay calm, know your rights, and never let a traffic stop take more from you than the law actually allows.